Hi there and welcome to another edition of the How to Make Money With podcast. My name is Ryk van Niekerk and this podcast is your essential guide to practical, innovative and sometimes downright surprising ways to earn some extra cash. Call it our ongoing quest to find the ultimate side hustle. Opportunities are everywhere. You just need to know where to find them. And today's topic is how to make money with vending machines. Graham Keshwa is with me. He's the Chief Executive of Vending Solutions. It is one of the largest vending machine businesses in South Africa. It has been in operation for more than 25 years. It has more than 1,350 vending operators and have supplied more than 8,000 vending machines into the South African market. Graham, thank you so much for your time. You know, vending machines has been with us for many, many years. I can still remember in the 1990s and 2000s, there were many in our offices and it actually replaced our canteen. But these days, you don't see that many vending machines. How big is this industry still today?
The industry is still huge and changing. Good afternoon, and thank you for having us and for the opportunity. The industry is still very huge. And as technology advances, so does the industry. And it's come leaps and bounds. And when I started in this industry, we sold a packet of cigarettes for R1.80. The machine would only take R2. And the 20 cents change was with sellotape on the packet when you pulled out the from the machine. That's how far I go back.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. And yeah, I've seen some of the new vending machines are very, very advanced. Some of them are totally cashless. And I would imagine there are some, tools and services in the background that makes it a lot more easy and more efficient to manage those machines.
Yeah, so cashless has been an absolute game changer. As a company, we took the decision 2.5 years ago to go cashless, so we're entirely cashless. We advise our clients to go cashless as well. It just streamlines the process, and given the security risk in South Africa, it just makes sense to go cashless. Also, it allows us to have telemetry on machines, which means in real time, we piggybacking off the cashless device, we can view machines online in real time, view their sales, what needs replenishment, what doesn't need replenishment, etc. And so that's a real game changer in terms of allocating resources and when to go to your machine, etc., and timing.
Let's look at Vending Solutions and the models you have, because you allow obviously third parties to buy machines from you, also to rent machines and operate them. What are the different models that are available in South Africa for somebody who may consider a vending machine as a side hustle?
So as a side hustle, we have different models in Vending Solutions. And I just want to point out that Vending Solutions, this started out as a side hustle for us. Okay, so we understand the journey that the entrepreneur walks. So we have different models. We have obviously a business opportunity model, which is mainly for those people wanting to have a side hustle. We have a corporate model, which we supply to corporates, and business-to-business model, essentially. And then we have technical services and all those little bolt-ons that go with it. But from a side hustle point of view, vending can be anything. It's not just chocolates, chips, and cool drinks or confectionery. So from a side hustle point of view, your only limitation is in terms of what the machine will take. It can be hot beverage, it can be snacks and cool drinks, it can be PPE. We have a lot of people who have machines from us supplying PPE to corporates. It can be fresh food, it can be water. So anything that you want to dispense, automatically track and trace is actually the business we're in.
So let's use an example. Here at MoneyWeb, we don't have a big office. We don't have a canteen. And if you want to buy any product, sweets, cool drink, confectionery, whatever, you need to drive somewhere. So say I want to put a vending machine in our lobby for the staff to be able to buy those things. What would be the process and how much money can I make?
The bottom line, straight to it.
Oh, will I make?
Okay. So a couple of things is, depending on the number of people, obviously it's location dependent. First of all, you would decide what your budget is. We have various different models at different price points and what the requirement is for the site. So you need to right size the machine for the site. It's useless using an Uber Go when you need an Uber van kind of thing. So we would then look at your site and do a bit of analysis, demographics, spending power, LSM, how many people are likely to use the vending machine, etc. We assist you with all that. We'll spit out some numbers based on historical information and say to you, look, if you've got 100 or 150 people and there's no other facilities, around about 50 to 60 people will use the machine on a daily basis. They will spend an average of 20, 25 Rand. You're going to work on a GP of around about 40%, 45%, depending on what products you're selling. And that's how much money you're going to make. Typically speaking, your return on investment is between 24 and 48 months on the capital, and your longevity of the machine is 10 to 15 years.
GP you refer to is gross profit. I just want to highlight that. So you say a return on investment on the actual vending machine between 2 years and 4 years. That is actually a long time. How much does a machine cost?
Well, you can buy a refurbished machine from ourselves, starting at about 65,000 Rand, and then they can go all the way up to about 150,000. What I've mentioned to you is sort of a middle of the range number. We do have clients who pay for their machines within 18 months, but we prefer to err on the side of caution and say, listen.
Yeah, well, for a 65,000 Rand machine, you need to sell a lot of chips to be able to pay that down.
But you can take the 65,000, you can put it in the bank. At today's rates, you'll get 7%, 8%, maybe 10 if you're lucky. And if you put it in a vending machine and you do a little bit of work, you're going to achieve around about a 25 to 36% ROI. So it's still a good investment. And it's a very basic business model. You buy for cash, you sell for cash. And it's completely scalable. So you can start with one machine. It's a side hustle. So, between picking the kids up from school or on a Saturday morning, you go and fill your vending machine. And once you've got one, you can decide, I want more. We've seen people grow from one machine to 50 to 100 machines. We have some customers who stay at one or two machines. So it's by no means a get-rich-quick scheme. It's for people who want to earn the extra income, who are happy to put a bit of graph in, and they'll realize that extra income. But we try to stay away from people who want to have instant riches off vending machines.
Can you paint us a picture or describe your average customer? Somebody who wants to start out buying a vending machine as a side hustle, and then maybe describe how they grow throughout their vending machine career. How many machines do the average client, for example, have?
A typical customer there is no typical customer, and I'm going to point out for you. So we have students, for example, whose parents have purchased them a vending machine and said, yeah, while you're at college or university, here's a vending machine for you. Don't ask me for pocket money again. Okay. It's a very basic business model. We've got housewives who, as I said, between picking the kids up from school or doing the grocery shopping, whatever, actually go and fill 5 or 10 machines, and that's their side hustle. We've got couples in their 30s or 40s hustling to pay school fees or money for vacations or some of those extra luxuries. They invest in a couple of vending machines and they fill them. Then on the other end of the spectrum, we have some people who are retired from perfectly good corporate jobs and so forth. They've still got a little bit of spring in their step and say, well, listen, I've still got lots of energy. I'll go and fill 5, 10 or 15 machines and off I go. Typically speaking, people start with 1 or 2 machines as our average sale, and then they build on from there. We assist them along the way. We advise on locations. We do the demographics for them. So some will stick with the 2 or 3 machines. Others will continue to grow that business. Some of them get bored. They hand it down to their kids, or, they give it to their siblings or whatever it is to run. But sometimes you see a machine generationally in a family change, actually, over the years that we have been and who's operating them.
I would imagine the location is absolutely critical, and then you need to sell the correct products in that vending machine for that location. Is that intuitive? Is it easy to identify, or is it a trial and error type of approach?
On location, 100% correct. But unlike other businesses, it's not a brick and mortar business. So the good news is that vending offers a lot of flexibility. So if you don't get your location right, for example, if you put it on location A and it doesn't make a return on investment, it's fairly easily movable to location B. Whereas with a typical franchise, it's a brick and mortar operation, you're in trouble. So identifying a location, most people already in their minds have got a location identified. We have schools, universities, we've got factory floors, we've got fitment centers, we've got clinics, we've got law offices, accounting offices, software companies, mining houses. You'll be surprised where vending machines actually are. Wherever there's a number of people gathering or waiting, or you have a captive audience, is a good location for a vending machine.
Now, of course, you need to stock it with products. Now, most people would immediately think of chips, chocolates, and cool drinks. But what other type of products are popular and work well?
So lots of other products work well. We have cell phone accessories, chargers, power banks. Fresh food works well if you've got access to fresh food supplier. For example, we have a guy at an airliner, and at 3:00 in the morning when the air hostesses come on shift, they have to have stockings on if their stockings are lathered. So he has a vending machine. Well, he used to have a vending machine that sold ladies' stockings. Okay. So anything that you think there's a need for, magazines, books, water vending machine, an energy drink vending machine, a vape machine, whatever you believe is there a need for, whatever there's a market need for, basically, and it'll fit in the vending machine, off you go.
How many of your customers do this as their only source of income?
I haven't actually taken an analysis, but we've had customers that have grown with us. So they've just kept it on from work and gone into retirement with it, and they continue to run it as a side hustle or as 1/3 or 2/3 of their income to supplement their retirement income. We've got a couple of customers that are full-time that have got over 100 machines each that are running. I'll be honest with you, I don't know how many of them are running it full-time.
Yeah, 100 machines, that should take some stocking. That person would be very, very busy.
Normally, at that stage, they employ other people. We have a fairly large operation ourselves, both in the corporate as well as in areas of various businesses and institutions, mainly like universities and things like that. But when you get up to certain numbers, then you start employing people. You have at least a team of 2 people on a van. That's when it becomes completely scalable.
Yeah, they can be a full-time business, most definitely. The maintenance of these machines, how expensive is it to maintain them?
So all machines, so it's not that expensive to maintain, firstly, especially now that we no longer use cash in the system. It's only software. So a lot of maintenance can actually be done online. The old adage where you got your 20 Rand note stuck or you didn't get your change and so forth, that's all out the window.
You scratch the coin against the machine.
None of that. The technology's moved on like you have no idea. There's sensors and AI cameras and facial recognition if you want. There's all sorts of toys. If you purchase from ourselves, we offer 3 to 5 year warranties depending on the types of machines. So it's always best if you are buying a machine to buy from a reputable supplier, just like you would purchase a motor vehicle or so. Make sure that there's backup. So we have a technical department. Most of the time we train our operators to do what we call first level maintenance on the machine themselves. We have backup in the form of a library as well. They can view YouTube videos to skill themselves on small minor issues. We have a full technical department and technical assistance telephonically as well. And then, of course, we have technicians that go out into the field if the problem's real. But typically speaking, most problems can actually be solved over the phone.
Do you need any permits or adhere to certain regulations? You know, depending, say, if you sell vaping products or cigarettes, I would imagine there could be some regulations at play.
So on vaping and cigarette, there's currently a bill before Parliament on vaping. I'm sure everybody's aware of it. So we're not sure exactly where the law is going to lie on that. It's not a product that we push a lot, but we do have clients who use our machines to sell vapes. On tobacco products, normal tobacco products, yes, you need to be over 18 and so forth and all those good things. But on normal products, you could just start out until you decide what you want to do with this business and scale it. You can start out as a sole proprietor. You don't need to register any formal business or anything like that. You can start off as a sole proprietor and just run it as your side hustle. Remember, you're not spending any traditional fees like you don't have a rental most of the time. Most companies will give you a free space because it's a service to their clients. I hope MoneyWeb's listening. They're going to give us a free space. You don't have advertising fees. You don't have debtors. You don't have creditors. It's a very basic business model. Although it's cashless, technically the term would be you buy for cash, you sell for cash. So you're not sending out, you're not waiting for someone to pay you in 30 days. When you sell that packet of chips, that payment overnight is in your bank account.
Let me do a bit of a free consultation or get a free consultation here. Say I want to get that vending machine into the lobby or the foyer here at MoneyWeb. What would be the typical things I would need to think of before approaching management, starting to negotiate? I don't know if there is normally a rent applicable. And what are the questions I need to ask you if I, of course, would like to purchase that vending machine from you?
firstly, on location, you would need to obviously check with management and so forth. I would run certain demographics. Where's your closest shop? Okay. Where's your closest activity? How many people are there? How many people are likely to use the machines? Now, in a case where there are not enough people, let's assume that you've only got 35 people in the building or 50 people in the building. It's not enough. It's not going to be enough numbers wise. Then you would approach your human resources or your company wellness and say, hey guys, how about taking care of our staff and paying a subsidy rental for having a vending machine here, which we do regularly, and lots of corporate companies and so forth pay for it, especially IT companies. There might be a small staff pool, but they drink Red Bull till all hours of the night. So in addition to just placing a machine, you get a subsidy rental from the company.
Does that happen often?
More often than you think.
Okay.
That's our preferred business model.
Oh, that sounds like a good start.
So that's our preferred business model. So most companies are willing, because they want to give something back to staff. It's a small price to pay and it's access. So approaching a company, well, we're going to keep Rake at work now. He's not going to wander off to 4 kilometers down the road to the nearest convenience store to go and find his Red Bull or his Coca-Cola or his healthy snack. So negotiate that. Then in terms of pricing, we'll advise you on pricing. But remember, we're not a franchise. So we don't dictate pricing, we don't dictate product, and we don't dictate selection. We strongly suggest you use our advice. We've been doing it for a long time. But we will suggest that you can sell. So for example, if you got a hotel site, let's assume you got a hotel lobby, you would be selling at a premium. Your GP there would be more than likely 65%. Whereas if you put it in a low LSM factory, your GP might be on a 35-40%, and your product mix would be different. So depending on what the product mix is. So you would find out from your staff members or from your colleagues what would they like to see in the vending machine. You would stack the most popular items. We'd advise you where to purchase it, etc., where the machine will be placed. The machine needs to be placed in an area basically accessible 24/7, we prefer, a high traffic area. Remember, a vending machine runs 24/7. One of the models we have is a spaza 24/7. So think of it as owning a spaza shop without the hassles of staff and so forth, etc. And you go in once a week and you stock it. Piece of software that we have, which enables you to view online and remote manage or observe your machine. So when you go to stock your machine, you'll actually know exactly what is required for stocking. So it's one of the benefits of the technology nowadays.
Graham, thank you so much for your time. I think this is an interesting side hustle opportunity. And, hopefully people can at least consider it. I've Googled vending machines, South Africa. There are many suppliers. And I'm sure there are tricks of the trade. So look at the experience, because you don't want to step in the same potholes, other people have done. We can learn from other people's mistakes. So thank you so much for your time today.
Greg, thank you for the opportunity. And if you look at the top 5 side hustles in the world, vending machines is in the top 5.
There you have it. That was Graham Keshwa. He's the Chief Executive of Vending Solutions. That's it for this episode of the How to Make Money with podcast. I hope you found it useful and maybe even a little inspiring. If you've enjoyed it, please like, follow or subscribe, depending on your platform, and share it with someone who's also looking for smart ways to earn more. Thanks for listening, and catch you next time as we explore more practical ways to make money.